Since the character of Batman was first created in the 1930s, the Joker has remained the superhero's most iconic nemesis. The character has been portrayed by various actors on screen, from Cesar Romero in 1966's Batman to Joaquin Phoenix in the infamous villain's first solo film. Join Factsverse as we take a look at every actor who played the Joker in Batman. Cesar Romero. Although the Joker had been portrayed previously in live-action serials, Cesar Romero is the main actor that most people think of when they think of the first live-action portrayal. Cesar began portraying the character on the aptly titled series Batman in 1966, and also featured in that series' theatrical adaptation. Before becoming the Joker, he was already a legend. He had gotten his start in the industry in the 30s, performing in roles such as the villain of the 1934 feature The Thin Man. Later, he could be seen in a much friendlier capacity as Shirley Temple's character's neighbor in the film The Little Princess. Besides the fact that Cesar Romero could act, he could also dance. The actor could be seen performing elaborate routines alongside stars like Carmen Miranda in films like Weekend in Havana. The year after that film's premiere, he volunteered for the Coast Guard and went on to serve during World War II in 1944. Cesar's portrayal of the Joker didn't deviate too much from the character's iconic visage and personality in early comic books. The character was more of a prankster than a murderous villain, though his criminal pranks still necessitated the character of Batman to put them to an end. With his brightly colored outfit and larger-than-life personality, Cesar represented the Golden Age comic book character come to life in most ways, except for the fact that the actor refused to shave the iconic mustache he'd already been donning for the majority of his career. Jack Nicholson. Tim Burton was advised to go a darker route when casting the character for his 1989 film adaptation. This film represented Batman's first true blockbuster movie, and the character of the Joker needed to be cast carefully to please audiences. Many names were kicked around, including Tim Curry, David Bowie, and Robin Williams. Tim Burton's pick for the role was Brad Dourif, while Batman's creator, Bob Kane, wanted Jack Nicholson. Nicholson ended up winning the role, with the studio using Robin Williams as an alternative when negotiating Nicholson's price down. Although the casting of Michael Keaton as Batman was met with some initial ire, fans were universally pleased with the choice of Nicholson. The actor had risen to prominence playing a variety of psychopaths, not the least of which was Jack Torrance in The Shining. Although Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker may seem as campy nowadays as Cesar Romero's was, it seemed like a much darker portrayal given the time. In fact, Romero later said he was disturbed by Nicholson's performance. Heath Ledger. Besides Mark Hamill's respected tenure as the Joker's voiceover artist on Batman the Animated Series, Jack Nicholson remained the preeminent Joker in the eyes of the public for nearly 2 decades before 2008's The Dark Knight came along with its shocking performance from Heath Ledger. Not only did Heath totally immerse himself in the more serious take on the character, but he also tragically died before the film was released. The actor's portrayal was so successful he was given a posthumous Academy Award. Director Christopher Nolan had previously sought Heath out to play Batman in Batman Begins. Heath Ledger was only 28 when he died. He died of an accidental prescription drug overdose. Infamously, Nicholson was said to have warned Heath Ledger before taking on the role of Joker that it was quite the emotional investment. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Jared Leto. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker had been so successful that there was immense pressure on the next performer to take over the role of the character. The character was recast less than a decade after The Dark Knight's release, and the studio eventually decided on Jared Leto. The casting of Leto was met with immediate anger, as the actor was considered too much of a pretty boy to play the character. But many Batman fans said the same thing when Heath Ledger was cast in The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's Joker had been the darkest iteration of the character so far, so director David Ayer decided to go a different direction when reinventing the character for Suicide Squad. Although Leto's role as the Joker wasn't its focal point, it was still an important part of the movie. Despite the fact Suicide Squad ended up making a lot of money, it was a critical failure, and it disappointed a lot of diehard Batman fans. Fans were particularly disappointed with the film's Joker. Jared Leto got his start acting on the short-lived teen drama TV series My So-Called Life, and went on to achieve success in films like Fight Club and Requiem for a Dream. In addition to acting, Jared is also known as the singer of the band 30 Seconds to Mars. The band is popular with teens, and Jared's status as a teen idol certainly didn't give Batman fans confidence that Jared was the right man to portray the character's most infamous nemesis. It remains to be seen whether or not Leto will continue to play Joker, but it remains unlikely. The actor did reprise the role in a brief capacity in 2021's Zack Snyder's Justice League, which premiered on HBO Max. The film represented an alternative version of the 2017 film Justice League, which Zack Snyder sadly had to quit after the suicide of his teenage daughter. Director Joss Whedon was brought in to finish the version that ended up being released, which did not contain any appearances from Jared Leto's Joker. Joaquin Phoenix. Although it's debatable whether Joaquin Phoenix's turn as the Joker will go down as the most iconic, the actor can lay claim to being the first person to portray the character in his own solo film. 2019's Joker might not be the first time that the Joker was given a darker portrayal, but it arguably represents the character's most dramatic portrayal on film. While Ledger's Joker was meant to intimidate, Joaquin's Joker seems to have been designed to draw sympathy from the audience. The film turned the character into something of an anti-hero, with many of his more violent tendencies being chalked up to mental illness. 2019's Joker was produced by Martin Scorsese, so it's arguably no coincidence that the film closely resembles two of the director's most classic features, Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. In fact, Joker even features the star of those films, Robert De Niro. Although De Niro doesn't have the biggest role in Joker, his role is very important, and his performance in the film received plenty of acclaim. Although most of the public seems to have taken fairly kindly to Joaquin Phoenix's unique portrayal of the Joker, it remains unlikely the actor will come back to reprise his role. The actor is notoriously averse to long-term contracts and likely only took the role with the stipulation that it was meant to be a one-off exploration of the character that didn't tie into any other films. Still, Joaquin has said he isn't ruling out the possibility of returning to the role in some capacity if he thinks the project he's being offered appears rewarding. A new Batman film is set to premiere in early 2022, though it will focus on Batman fighting the Riddler instead of the Joker. When it comes time for the Joker to be brought back to the screen, it remains to be seen which actor will be chosen to portray him. Until then, there are plenty of classic cinematic Jokers to revisit. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share who you think the most iconic Joker is. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.